AUC has always considered mental health and well-being as a priority, and with the increased awareness and concerns towards the importance of the subject, the AUC has decided to celebrate the Global Mental Health Day in a different way.
Last year we did mostly the day, like the 10th of October. We also did a booth and we did class visits, but it was on a smaller scale. But you know, when you find that the higher administration are encouraging and reinforcing and so on, it became like a big support for us. And we also collaborated with the psychology department, and it was like mostly a bigger thing. So definitely, because the mental health right now, there is the mental health task force and empowered by the president and the senior administration. So I think that's why it's maybe more evident this year.
The Office of Wellbeing is not just focused on counseling, but rather the whole concept of the AUC's community well-being. And accordingly, the office serves all kinds of psychological, mental, and physical demands that are needed by the community.
Historically speaking, the Center for Student Wellbeing used to be a counseling center. It was all counseling at the beginning, and then it started to have other initiatives. The two big initiatives were something it used to be like called mentoring, but later on it's more of academic counseling for any students who are having any problems in their whether in declaring or they are on probation or like risky near probation kind of thing, like 2 point whatever. So we had this subunit to help these students, and then in 2009 there was this very important unit, which is the disability unit. And everything became, the office became like 3 entities. Still the counseling is a major part, of course, together with the disability and the outreach for students who are struggling academically.
With a great concentration on the importance of mental health, the AUC Office of Wellbeing cooperated with the psychology department to throw a whole week of mental health celebrations with a variety of events and activities that shed light on the significance of mental health and the priority of well-being. Students and the whole community were motivated to wear green, which is the color symbolizing mental health, on the official Mental Health Day, which is the 10th of October, and some were keen to keep wearing green for the whole week. Students shared their thoughts on a big board placed in the plaza. As part of the week's events, a panel titled Mental Health and Wellbeing for All took place in Mohammed Shafiq Gabr Lecture Hall, discussing definitions and concepts around mental health, facts and myths, as well as the importance of well-being as a core priority for everyone.
Definitely online therapy on the long run is a much cheaper option than creating physical centers to accommodate large numbers of people. So we're on the right direction as a country and as a region in investing in online therapy to reduce the cost of access, to reduce the cost of transportation, to reduce the cost of time that is wasted in actually finding the right therapist and connecting with the right therapist and receiving regular support. However, one of the things that the region is growing in is relationships with insurance companies. Because at the end of the day, once insurance companies become aware that this is a service that's very important, not just for the individual and supporting members, but also for corporations, for the government. The loss in productivity, the effect on even GDP is actually related to the state of our mental health as a nation.
I think definitely we're a lot more mental aware than we were, let's say, 20 or 30 years ago. There's more accessibility and less stigma to go to therapists. A lot of people go to therapy now. It doesn't have to mean that you're crazy or whatever. I do think there's still more work to do. because most of the mental health awareness is at a very intellectual level at the moment. So a lot of us know a lot of terms about mental health, maybe types of personality. We talk about our narcissistic ex or whatever, and we're involved and we're engaged in these conversations on a mental, intellectual level. But actually a big part of mental health is about our nervous system, which is not the intellectual part of our brain, which is really the basic animalistic part of our brain. It's about how to feel safe, how to regulate our nervous system, how to feel present. And this is the part of us that's usually not feeling well when we are traumatized somehow, when we have unresolved trauma. So this is what I think is the next step.
Another interesting activity that took place was an art therapy session conducted by the renowned Egyptian art therapist Carol Hamel, who told us what does art therapy mean and how does it work.
So art therapy is a mental health profession in which we combine art making as means to express yourself. So that art typically means visual art like drawing, painting, collage. And every time that you release thoughts and feelings through those art materials, you get to automatically feel a little bit better. But also we go as far as diagnose and treat mental health conditions. And so art therapy is part of the larger umbrella of creative arts therapies, which also falls under the large umbrella of practicing psychology. So in the same way that we have a counseling psychologist, which uses a verbal process to work with a client. In this case, we combine both the counseling skills and also art making. You don't need to know how to draw, but an art therapist needs to have a master's degree in art therapy and therefore an academic background in art and psychology.
Students participated in the session and enjoyed exploring their inner thoughts and feelings through art.
I think it's really important because you can tell 20 years ago or it wasn't actually a thing, and now people are starting to be more aware of mental health, even the illness, everything is so important. So I'm really happy about it that they're trying to spread awareness about the issue.
Mental health and well-being is definitely a big thing that needs everyone's attention, and this year's efforts towards celebrating it showed how much awareness and recognition are being made for this cause. This was Gehad Essam AUCTV, Cairo.